welcome to CS38 Racing. So we're back down here on the starting grid for race 1. It'll be interesting to see how we go in relation to the rest of the race. So a lot of the biggest problem for this, we get off to a relatively good start here. We try to get on the inside of Mikado, I believe it is. Get bunched in a little bit more than we're normally used to, but that's okay. We try and take, I believe it's Rinaldi who's in front of us. We try and run out the outside there, but it didn't really work. So this is a really tricky section because the bike feels like it wants to go straight. Anyway, we come into turn 5, trying to get good enough drive to keep into turn, I believe it might be turn 7. We get on the inside of Ricardo there. Not Ricardo. Rinaldi. A little bit of a block pass, but that's alright. Aggressive. World Superbike likes aggressive racing. So now we're onto the back of Pisani. Oh, that was a bit too much of a barge there. Even for me, I think that was a bit too bargy. But that's okay. Right, so now we're trying to focus. We're 1.8 seconds, 1.1 seconds off the back of Lowe's. And then we're back onto Lowe's now. Trying to keep an inside line there. We're just on the rear of Lowe's there. Trying to get down on the inside into turn 14 to get the run out on 15 down the straight, but the bike does not feel like it wants to turn here. And the AI is strangely underpowered, so I seem to get quite a good slingshot effect off these riders. I mean, passing all of these riders, it's a bit ridiculous, so as the races come, we'll go through adjusting that. But that doesn't matter anyway, because I ran wide. So, that puts us back behind, I believe it's Jonathan Ray and Razgadioglu. Now, this is where it's definitely shows. Oh, there we go. We kind of barged Bautista out of the way there. Kind of ended his race too. Not a very proud moment. But anyway, we settle back in behind Jonathan Ray coming into turn 3, the Carlos Checa corner. Try to get some really good drive coming down into turns 4 and 5. We can see that, oh, there we go. It looks like, I don't believe it's Razgadioglu. Oh, it's Gerloff. Gerloff got through on us there. Try and cut onto the inside. We managed to hit the apex pretty well there. So that's a pretty good job from us. Now coming into this reverse corkscrew of turns 8 and 9, the bike does just seem really heavy. It doesn't want to turn at all. So that's definitely a development area that we want to work on, is the frame, which normally Yamaha's pretty good with its agility, but with this case it's not. Anyway, we try and get good drive coming through turn 11. And coming into turn 12, we're on the inside of Gerloff. We try to make a move through on Lowe's, but it's a little too much. We end up running just a touch wide there, losing a little bit of drive. Coming into turn 13 now, and then into to 14 and 15, we're trying to get that inside line on Lowe's and try and get the dive down the inside, but it just didn't work there. We ended up losing too much drive and Gerloff gained. As we're coming in down this back straight, again, we get a really big amount of advantage over the AI, which is ridiculous. But anyway, we can adjust that in a later episode. Now, one thing that is clear is the timing screens, or the timing tower on the left, only updates every time you go past the finish line. So now we're classified as being in 7th. Now this is a really tricky turn 1 into here. It's a really hard right hand corner, and the bike it's really hard to judge where you want to pull up and how you want to pull the bike up. But that's okay. We can keep going at that and perfecting that. So now I'm trying to settle into a rhythm here into these double left-handers of turn 4 and 5. It's a difficult corner because if you miss your apex, you lose a lot of drive out of those corners. Now we're trying to use Ray and Razgadioglu as a focal point here to try and focus the way in which we're trying to keep rhythm going in the race. It's not necessarily happening. I'm losing a lot of drive here. I've lost a heck of a lot of drive there by going over the curve. It's not something you necessarily want to do every time. Oh, we can see it's Mikado, I believe, has run wide. Or Lucas Mayas, apparently it's saying. Oh, no, it should be Mikado. Ran wide there, allowing Toprak through, but not Ray. So we can see that sort of trio ahead of us there. Really trying to use those as a braking reference into this turn 14, turn 15. The bike just was finding it really hard to stop. Aragon's not a track I've ever been particularly strong at, and I don't particularly like Aragon, so that's okay anyway. But we can try and make sure that we get a good position here for our first race in the World Superbike series. But coming on to it, let's talk a little bit about the visuals of World Superbike. Yeah, so it looks pretty much like a relatively rebranded MotoGP 20, MotoGP 21. Oh, we're on the wrong side there to be trying and overtaking Ray. Of course, we just twitch a little bit there and we lose a heck of a lot of drive again. But as you can see, the overhead positioning of the riders is wrong. It's saying that Ray's in 7th and that, it's Cyrene. Apparently it's Cyrene, not Mikado, is in 10th. So this is something that is really disappointing because as a game that should be going straight to release, it shouldn't have these issues to begin with. I understand that things happen. These things aren't as easy as just a click of a button, but still, as a completed product, and a product that a consumer pays for, not really that good to, or not acceptable for that to be the case. Anyway, as we just have a twitch of the rear there, it loses us a heck of a lot of drive. You can see that brings Alex Lowe's, and I believe it should be Alex Lowe's and Gerloff back onto our tail here. Now this turn 10 is a really tricky turn because you're in 3rd gear and you're trying to feather the throttle, but enough to keep it high enough in the revs not to change back down to 2nd. Now this corner I personally hate. I love it visually, it looks great when you watch it on TV, but it is so hard to do when you're actually playing. Anyway, we come into 14, 15 in here, and we're definitely losing ground on the trio ahead of us. And we just run wide here. Again, the bike just did not want to turn. We'll lose absolute drive there. But again, because of the AI, we're able to work a little bit better. Now, as you can see on the timing screen on the left-hand side, it's showing that we're 2nd. I think this is because I believe it might be based off timing, considering that Vieja is in 1st and he's done a 150.143 and we have done a 150.444. So I think that's what's happening there. But anyway, now really trying to get into a consistent rhythm here. Coming into the final lap, we just really don't want to make any mistakes like that. We ran a little bit wide coming out of turn 3 there. So now this tricky turn 5. There we go. We did manage to hit the apex. We get back on the power, flicking into the right-hander of turn 6, keeping on the right-hand side. We come into turn 7, which is a really tricky braking corner because it's constantly braking on turn, or constantly braking at an angle, which it doesn't like doing. Of course, the rear steps out on us every time there. Just feathering the rear brake does not seem to work there. And anyway, we come back into turn 10 and hitting close to the apex there, making sure we get really good drive down this sort of semi-mid corner, turn 11. Braking heavily into turn 10 here, trying not to make any mistakes so that I don't lose any more points on our first outing here at Aragon in the World Superbike category. And we've gone wide. We've gone wide there. That's not what we were intending to do. Let's see if we can make up some speed down this back straight. Tyre wear has gone relatively okay. We've still got a bit of tyre left on the left-hand side of both the front and the rear. And a little more on the front-hand right side than the rear. Okay, as we come into this final corner, we're looking to really get some good drive down onto the main straight and finish across the line. There we go, not too bad for our first race, I'd say, not too bad at all. So, as you can see, VAK's in 1st and we're in 2nd, so yeah, it's going to be based off times from the look here. Top Rack in 5th position, that's not right, it should really be, the AI needs to be properly adjusted to fit the correct amount of the correct performance of the riders. So the AI needs to be adjusted, because this is definitely not the realistic definition, not the realistic performance of these riders. Hafish Cyrene wouldn't be this high up. Definitely not above Ray and Bautista and all those kind of riders. So, yeah. So we did, well, apparently we're second. That wasn't the case. I think we were sixth from memory. So we're good to know that this cutscene's pretty much like MotoGP. There's not any difference. Pretty much exactly the same thing, just reskinned, if you want to think about it that way. Alright, so we'll get down to seeing you guys in the Superpole race. Alright, so we're down here at the Superpole race. We're running an SC1 front and an SC0 rear. And here we go. Wait for the lights to go out. And go! We're off. Oh, I got a late start there. Pretty bad start. Not as responsive as I would have liked to have been. As we come down into turn 1, we try to get to the inside to pass most of the riders there, but we seem to be stuck behind. I don't know if that's Erdl, and you got to be careful on those curbs. That runs us out wide, which we don't want to be doing. So we're behind Erdl coming into turn 5, and we just run wide there. The bike does not feel like it wants to turn properly at all. So now we've got to try and capitalise, because our goal should be to try and be in the top 10, at least for this race. But we're not sure how this is, and we're gone wide again. The bike just feels so heavy. Okay, so we're doing okay here. Hopefully we can sink into a rhythm to catch up to Locatelli ahead of us. Now that Locatelli is ahead of us, we break into turn 12, sorry. And then we flick into turn 13. Switch up into third gear to get some drive. Back down to first gear for turn 14 and 15. We did manage to make some ground there on Locatelli. But then they get it again on acceleration, as we had a little bit of a wheelie. As we come down the back straight. Whoop, swerving to get out of the way of Locatelli there, and we run wide. Run really deep, really wide. That's not what you want to do. It's not how we want it to be. Alright, so now we've got to try and get back past Locatelli. Again, the AI isn't correctly formatted. And we come in and we do a little bit of bashing. Apologies there to... That's alright, he gets back through on us. There we go. So I think that's Bassani, I believe, I'm not too sure. Okay, so we can see that Lowe's is ahead of us, supposedly in 11th. So we're going to try and use them as a reference point to... Bassini's coming back toward us, coming back up the inside there. We're going to try and use a defensive line. But we wiggle a bit there, which is going to force us wide, lose a bit of speed. Bassani's still right on our tail here. Try and really get the power down to get some good drive into turn 10. Feathering in third gear to get some good drive out into turn 11. And line up a move into turn 12, or at least defending from Bassini into turn 12. Come into the tricky turn 12. We just cut the curb a little bit there. Got to keep our eye on that. Keep it in third gear, coming into 14, 15. Try and get the bike pulled up, and that's one thing the bike has not feel good at this weekend. It hasn't felt like it's wanted to pull up at all during this round at Aragon. So we're trying to see if we can improve that, I guess, in regards to maybe electronics and engine braking would do a lot of help in regards to the championship. Okay, so we've managed to close the gap a little bit to Lowe's, and there seems to be a group of battling riders here that could get us into the top 10. And we managed to get past Lowe's. Do we keep the door? Yes, we managed to close the door on Lowe's there. That was a good pass into turn 1. A classic textbook example of how to pass into turn 1. As we try to get on the back of Lekawona, Mikado, Rinaldi and maybe Gerloff, I think it might be. Tried to sneak a look up the inside of Lekawona there, but we unravelled our braking, which leaves the door open for Lowe's to try and come back through, but he didn't manage to get through, so that's really good. As we come into turn 7 now, we just missed the apex there and mucked that corner up a little bit, but Mikado and Lekawona are battling, so we could use this to capitalise to try and get up the inside of Mikado, force a move into the chicane. Perfect, just like that. That's exactly what we wanted to try and do. Or the reverse corkscrew, sorry, it's not a chicane. Technicalities, my bad. Oh, we run a little bit wide there, so Mikado gets a better drive coming through turn 11. But we managed to get some really good drive out of turn 11 into 12. And defensive braking there, getting a bit of bumping and barging from Mikado. Now let's see if we can put some rubber down and catch up to Lekawona. Hopefully making a bit of a difference here in turn 15. Oh, but it's a little bit wide, so Lekawona got better drive coming out onto the back straight on the final lap, but we do seem to capitalise on the fact that the AI are not as strong as they should be in a straight line speed, so we kind of capitalised off that as we come out of the final corner in 3rd gear, switching up into 4th, coming into 5th across the line. Not bad, not bad. We did achieve the goal of being in the top 10. Apparently, because this is still based on lap times, we actually came 2nd. Because we got the 2nd fastest lap time. Annoyingly. So I don't really know where we're going to be in regards to championship points and all those kind of things. So hopefully that updates throughout the season so we can get a bit more of an accurate picture of what's happening as opposed to having to wait for this. But anyway, we'll just have to see how it goes into the 2nd race. Okay, so we're down here on the grid. We're going to run a D4 front and an SC0 rear. This will enable us to have some pretty good balance during the race. And off we go. We're off to a pretty good start there, ensuring that we're getting a good run into turn 1. Now, of course, we're starting in 2nd because of the glitch in World Superbike that actually enables us to start our race based on the position that we finished in, not the lap time, sorry, not the position we finished in. Anyway, so we're going to try and hold 3rd there, but we're wobble into turn 5, and that loses quite a bit of drive there, as you can see through turn 6 as Happy Siren looks to come up the inside into turn, and we're down. We just got caught on the inside there and just touched the rear tyre with Happy Siren. That's a bugger. We were really looking to capitalise on getting some points for the championship, but things happen. So now we have to focus on trying to get back into the points if we possibly can. It's going to be a big ask, but that's what we have to do for the remainder of this race. So we can see that we've got Locatelli ahead of us, and we really want to try and ensure that we can catch up to the back of Locatelli. Coming into turn 11, braking hard into this left-hander, to hit your apex and get on a good line out to get some good drive into turn 13, and ensure that you line yourself up properly for 14 and 15. Now braking early into 14 to try and get a good run out into 15 and down the back straight. As you can see, we did lose a bit of time there, put the bike back up into power mode 3. That is one thing that is quite good about the World Superbike game, is the fuel conservation in power mode 3 is actually quite good compared to MotoGP, where it'll be gone in 2 laps and then you have to go back to power mode 1 or power mode 2. Okay, so we can visibly see that we are getting closer to Locatelli here. See if we can make a move down into turn 1. Nope, be a little bit conservative there. I don't want to cause any more crashes and lose any more time. So we can see, just a touch on the curb there, and we run a wide into turn 3, Carlos Checa corner. So we come into turn 4 now. We seem to be hovering around about a second off Locatelli currently, or about 7/10 consistently. So now we really need to try and put our head down, get in some good clean laps and settle into a rhythm that will allow us to have a good race and be in a good position. It's this corner here, this reverse corkscrew coming in, that the bike just twitches on the rear, makes it a bit unsettled and makes it harder to stick to your line. Coming into turn 10, you really want to try and feather the throttle in third gear here to get enough drive down this sort of somewhat straight, no, not even straight, this curve, long curve, down into turn 12, flick into 13 and come into the tight chicane section of 15 and 14 and then onto the back straight again. So we can see that Locatelli has actually gained quite a bit of time there on us. We've lost about 0.5 of a second on this lap, and we're 10 seconds behind the leader. So we really want to capitalise on making some ground here. Running just a touch deep there, but it's okay. Hopefully we can get some good drive onto the main straight. That'll put us to 3 laps out of 5, 2 laps remaining. We start to have a look on the inside of Locatelli there, but we think better of it and try and make a cleaner pass somewhere else. We'll lose a lot of time in the switch over from turn 1 to turn 2 there, as we were just a little bit deep out of turn 1. We got good exit out of the Carlos Checker corner there, lining us up for turn 4 and turn 5. Oh, the rear sliding out there, that was a big mistake there. We just lost a huge amount of time into those corners. Okay, so now we really got to try and settle back into this rhythm, because now we're 1.3 off Locatelli in this lap. So we're still holding in power mode 3, traction control is 4, anti-wheelie 4 and EBS 4. Our tyre wear's not going too badly. We're obviously wearing a bit more on the front than the rear, and particularly to the left hand side, which isn't surprising as Aragon is mainly a left-handed track. Left-hand-sided track, sorry. Oop, get on the curbs a little bit there. The curbs, they're still aggressive, but not as aggressive as what they are in MotoGP. So Bautista has the fastest lap of a 150.04, so we're about, our record lap is a 150.7. Oh no, Bautista's just gone faster with a 149.83. So we're about a second off the pace of the lead. We managed to close in a lot. Oh, track limits warning. On Locatelli into that first sector down the main straight. So now we're really just using Locatelli as a marker here to try and give our focus for braking markers so that we can really gain on this group of riders here, because if we can get into this group of riders, we could potentially bring ourselves into the points, possibly. Or maybe not. Philip Erdel's in 21st. We'd be at least close to the points with this group of riders. Oh, so we tried to get a lot more mid-corner speed there, but ended up resulting in an overshooting the exit, which causes us to lose crucial drive. But we are 0.4 off Locatelli, and here we go. We've managed to make some good ground into the braking zone there. We do run wide. Really stuffing up our chances there. So now we really just have to concentrate and see if we can put in a couple of, well, one blinding lap to put us into the points here. Well, not the points, but a better position than last. We can't finish last. Okay, so we are, obviously the AI are a little bit underpowered on the straights. So we were able to get through there to capitalise on that. So now we can see that Alex Lowe's is in front of us. Oh no. Locatelli and I think it was Tamburini have got back through on us there, our teammate. Okay, we've managed to make quite a few positions into turn 1, but we run wide. Yeah, track limits warning. Okay, so we get through on Tamburini there, taking a tighter line into the Carlos Checa corner. We're now going to try and take this wide sweeping line to maintain momentum into turns 5 and ensure that we can stick with Alex Lowe's, who was also caught up in that first lap tangle like we were. Okay, so now that we're coming into this, we're a bit deep into turn 7, but we managed to hold the position, which is really good. We don't want to lose any more positions. Okay, into the reverse corkscrew. We are making a little bit of time there on Lowe's, but overshoot the corner again, making it a little bit harder to maintain and stick on the rear wheel of Lowe's. Oh, we're going to run wide. We've ran wide there. Another track limits warning. It's alright. It's the last lap anyway. We've really got to push. So we've made a good entry and exit of turn 12 there, and coming into 12-13 we're a touch wide. Running on 0.3 of fuel, so hopefully we can get ourselves to the finish line. Tried to take a really tight line there to get good drive out onto the back straight for the final time of asking. And of course we're going to get a bit of an advantage here for the AI. So now we're going to be sitting in 19th, but we've run wide. Which lets Vandermark back through, and same as Scott Redding or one of the BMWs there, and we managed to just get Vandermark on the line for a top 19. So the race was Vieje, Toprak, Bautista, Jonathan Ray, Axel Bassani were the top 6. We were placed in 19th, just ahead of Michael Vandermark and behind Luca Bernardi. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one. Bye.